Have you ever wondered how to finance a startup business? It's a question many entrepreneurs grapple with. Launching a business requires not just a great idea, but also careful consideration of factors like startup capital, legal structure, and funding options. It's a complex process, and one that can make or break a startup's success. In fact, inadequate financing is a common pitfall, leading many small businesses to shutter their doors within the first few years. Today, we'll explore different ways of financing a new business, along with the pros and cons of each. One of the most common ways to finance a startup is through personal investment. This approach often involves entrepreneurs dipping into their own savings or leveraging personal assets to fund their business ventures. There are several advantages to this method. Firstly, it allows founders to maintain complete control over their business without the need to answer to external investors. Secondly, it can help to avoid the burden of debt that other forms of financing may bring. However, personal investment is not without its risks. The most significant of these is the potential to lose personal assets if the business does not succeed. This can be a daunting prospect, and it's a reality that every entrepreneur must face when deciding to fund their startup through personal investment. Furthermore, personal savings might not always be sufficient to cover all the costs associated with starting a business. This is particularly true for startups in industries that require large initial investments, such as technology or manufacturing. While personal investment can be a good starting point, it's important to consider other funding options as well. This could include borrowing from family and friends, using credit cards, securing a startup loan, or exploring government grants, equity funding, business loans, and crowdfunding. All these options come with their own set of advantages and disadvantages, and it's crucial to thoroughly understand them before making a decision. Other common sources of startup financing include borrowing from family and friends, using credit cards, and obtaining startup loans. Let's delve a little deeper into these sources. Borrowing from family and friends can be a quick and relatively easy way to secure funds for your startup. This method is often less formal and may come with lower interest rates, or sometimes none at all. However, it's not without its pitfalls. Mixing business with personal relationships can put a strain on those relationships, especially if the business doesn't go as planned. It's essential to treat these loans as professionally as any other, with clear terms and a repayment plan. Next, we have credit cards. These handy little pieces of plastic can provide immediate access to funds. They're especially useful for covering smaller, recurring expenses or bridging short-term cash flow gaps. However, they can be a double-edged sword. Credit cards often come with high interest rates, and if you're not careful, you can quickly find yourself in a cycle of debt that's hard to escape. Then there are startup loans. These are loans specifically designed to help businesses get off the ground. They can provide a substantial amount of capital and often come with longer repayment terms and lower interest rates than credit cards. However, they can be harder to qualify for. Lenders typically want to see a solid business plan, good personal credit, and sometimes even collateral. These methods can provide a lifeline when starting a business, but they also come with risks. The potential strain on personal relationships, high interest rates, and stringent approval processes can be significant drawbacks. But with careful planning and management, they can be a part of a balanced financing strategy. These methods can be useful, but it's crucial to understand the potential risks and to have a plan for repayment. More structured forms of startup financing include government grants, equity funding, business loans, and crowdfunding. Let's kick off with government grants. These are funds provided by the government that, unlike loans, don't need to be paid back. Sounds great, right? But here's the catch. They're incredibly competitive. Many startups vie for a limited pool of resources, and the application process can be complex. Yet if you've got a unique, innovative idea that aligns with government priorities, a grant could be a golden ticket. Next up is equity funding. This involves selling a stake in your business to investors in exchange for capital. It's a popular method for many startups, especially those in the tech industry. But remember, when you sell equity, you're essentially selling ownership. This means you might lose some control over your business. It's a trade-off you'll need to consider carefully. Now let's talk business loans. These are borrowed funds that need to be paid back with interest. Financial institutions, like banks, offer various loan products tailored to businesses. However, securing a business loan isn't a walk in the park. It often requires a solid business plan, financial projections, and sometimes collateral. So it's crucial to have your ducks in a row before applying for a business loan. Finally, we have crowdfunding. This involves raising small amounts of money from a large number of people, typically via the internet. It's a public and interactive way to fund your startup, but it also means putting your idea out there for everyone to see, which could lead to copycats. Plus, successful crowdfunding often hinges on a compelling story and a strong marketing strategy. While these methods can provide significant funding, they require careful planning and consideration. Financing a startup is a complex process with many factors to consider. Throughout this video, we've walked through the various channels entrepreneurs can tap into, from personal investment to borrowing from loved ones, using credit cards, or securing startup loans. We touched on government grants, equity funding, business loans, and the power of crowdfunding. Each method comes with its own set of advantages and potential pitfalls, and it's crucial to weigh these against your business's unique needs and goals. By understanding these options, entrepreneurs can make informed decisions and find the best financing method for their unique needs and goals.